Welcome back to the Legend of Korra. So,
The conclusion!
Yes.
4 elements, 4 seasons, 4 parts.
You know, we were talking about Spider-Man before we recorded, and that's a good segue because during an interview, I forgot with who at Platinum Games, they asked, what IP would you like to work on next? And they said they want to work on a Spider-Gwen game.
I want to...
wait. Spider-Gwen?
Yes.
Yes, Pedro.
Interesting.
We're in the spirit world now, are we?
I love
Pedro.
I love how... Oh, what is it now, Janora?
Wait, hold on. Janora, since we're in the spirit world, shouldn't you actually just show up properly since you're doing a spirit projection?
Wait, that's not in the budget.
Yep.
I mean, I get it, gameplay, but again, this game does not always gel the best with the lore.
Alright, so basically that's a tutorial for spirit bending, which again, this is another demonstration that this is definitely after Season 2.
Yep. I'll give them credit. It was neat that they did incorporate it into the gameplay.
Okay. That being said, what a waste of animation. Like, it's just a small 5-second cutscene of her coming out of the portal, and that's it. Like, seriously, did we even need that?
Look at the sky. Something's really wrong here.
I mean, you got Titmouse just to animate. All right, Titmouse, get your animators ready. You're gonna animate this 5-second scene of Korra coming out of the portal, because that's incredibly important. I mean, we have to see Korra coming out of the portal, because otherwise the player might start assuming that she teleported into the spirit world. I mean, how else are you supposed to know? You know, like.
I mean, you could just run through it in game.
Yeah, that too, or that. It feels like waste of animation.
You know, that is a good point, actually. There's a noticing lack of in-game cutscenes, honestly. Like, I'm wondering.
I get the feeling, Joe, it's because, we have to make the cutscenes using animation because, you know, like, to properly represent the source material.
I think it's also probably because they just couldn't be bothered to really make models for, you know, any of the other characters who we might expect to see in a story.
Yeah,
like
that's all. That's another plausible explanation. Yes.
Where the hell is Tenzin? And
we can't afford J.K. Simmons, Jova.
Yeah,
sorry.
Like you said, we cannot afford J.K. Simmons.
Well, even more so, Mako and Balin actually do have in-game models, but they are nowhere to be seen in the story as well. They only show up during the pro-bending stuff, which, hey, yeah, this is a bit of a nitpick, but technically, since this is happening after Book 2, Mako and Korra wouldn't really be doing the pro-bending thing anymore. In fact, if I recall correctly, I think Bolin kind of stopped doing the pro-bending thing by the time of Book 3 as well.
Don't think about it.
Yeah, just don't think about it.
If you're gonna make this a licensed tie-in that you make canon...
Yes, game, I know, you've told me this before.
Research the series more.
Yeah, that's another thing about this game, until you even noticed this in the last part when they told me to dodge as Naga. Like, the game's tutorials sometimes repeat. And I'm just like, okay, game, I get it. You've already told me that I have to open these chests by comboing. I know. You've told me this.
Just in case you forgot, despite how short this game is.
It's also the it's operating on DBZ have reached the school of logic. Dodge!
So it's like in Mega Man 8. You know, jump, slide.
Alright.
I'll also pop the rapper on that logic.
Okay, I do like how powerful airbending is in this game. But the problem I have is that, well, like Pedro mentioned, it's kind of about where it's so OP, so of course they saved it for the end of the game. Like, a good game should be able to balance out its styles relatively well.
This is the closest to an in-game cutscene you're gonna get.
Well, I mean, I asked if he could render stuff in-game.
Well, okay, well, there you go, Dubs. That's the closest you'll get.
Yeah, a 5-second, a bit where this thing shows up.
Yeah, you started to see what I mean about airbending being OP as fuck. I already destroyed one of its life bars. See? There you go.
Again, I need to. I really need to reiterate. It was beyond shocking to have a game of this caliber come from Platinum, the studio that had just released Bayonetta 2 earlier the same year.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not gonna act like their record was always spotless before this time, but they had worked up a good streak of quality. Sure, their games didn't always sell the best, but they had the quality to match.
Mm-hmm. All right,
Then this era came about, and
earthbending
I
barrier.
mean, near automata aside, yeah.
All right.
Well, remember, sorry, go on.
Well, Nier Automata was after this licensed game
Yeah,
period.
like I said, it was the
Pretty
thing that
much,
actually
yeah.
propelled them back.
yeah. Nier Automata was kind of like their Rocky 2 of getting back into the saddle.
Remember, to this day, Kamiya keeps thanking Yoko Taro and Square Enix for actually saving the company.
Wow, it really is hard to believe that they were actually
hold on.
in trouble at that point.
All right, there was a villain in this game, wasn't there? I mean, he has so.
Oh no! Now there's 3
Yeah.
of him.
He has
My
so.
favorite Avatar villain, crotchety old man wearing purple.
This guy has so little presence. When you're a worse villain than Unalak, you've got problems. Like,
I know.
seriously,
like,
what the fuck?
If I had to understand correctly, well, again, from the little that I've seen, the 3DS game actually fleshes out a bit more the story, and ideally that should include a villain.
Oh, really?
Again, we'll have to see. Remember, Pedro, the 3DS game is a Fire Emblem core, meaning that it has a bit more cutscenes and story integrated. And remember, you control a full party, which means that other supporting characters show up. So because we don't even use the voice acting. So I'm positive the story is probably better there. But again, we'll actually have to see properly when we get to that.
But yeah, no, like, attention writers, just having a mysterious villain go, I'm mysterious, say nothing but laugh and then disappear constantly, does not make that villain compelling. It makes them
Doesn't
confusing to the
elaborate.
player.
Leaves.
Yeah.
Now look, sometimes that can be awesome. This is not one of those moments.
Okay. Let's carry on.
Happy.
All right, so yeah, we're going straight into the tree where Vaatu is imprisoned. So basically, if I understood correctly, he's trying to release Vaatu.
Didn't we kill Vaatu at the end of book 2?
Oh yeah, you're right.
Well,
Never mind. You're
actually,
right.
yeah, we did.
Yeah. So
I mean,
what is? So what is?
quite an everything.
Yeah, I actually forgot,
Is the
Mr.
villain like a split, part of Vaatu's soul that still lingers? Oh,
No, he's not. I can tell you he's not.
Spirit energy?
That being said, yeah, old man, what is your plan exactly?
I guess Platinum still remembers the lovely bullshit one-hit kill attack from the final boss of Mad World.
Yep. Alright. That being said, Teo, it's actually fine because basically what that thing does is that, honestly, I don't have much of an idea what it does because you can step into it fine. So I don't really know. See, I just went into there.
I thought that was something that was like supposed
It
to
slows your
drain your
movement.
health.
Okay.
I don't know, like that. I can just. My combos are not affected by it, so honestly, it doesn't seem. Honestly, it's pretty negligible if you ask me.
Whatever, it's dealt with as easy as it comes, so on we go.
Yoink.
Rank C, yeah, whatever. Moving on.
But yeah, no, like, it really is a shame how much of missed potential there is in this game, in both gameplay and the story, which again, Platinum normally don't muck up with. Now, look, I'm not gonna act like Platinum have always make, like, stellar stories, okay? When you get down to it, Metal Gear Rising story, while a fun one, it is not exactly deep, thought-provoking stuff like...
Well, it wasn't meant to be fair.
Exactly.
And remember, it's an existing AP. When in terms of original stories, you have more to think about, Bayonetta and Vanquish.
Yeah.
Okay, Bayonetta, you can tell that they're just, doing the same thing that Devil May Cry did, the creative cool spectrum and everything. With Vanquish, they did try to have a bit more of a social-political message from everything, Believe it or not, Jovan, Mad War was actually written by,
Pontac and Graph.
No. Sorry,
Was it?
by the...
Pontac.
Yeah.
No, it was maybe the localization Dej, but the main story was actually written instead by he keeps escaping me now. The creator of Final Fantasy Tactics.
Matsuno?
Yeah, Matsuno, of all people, out of fucking nowhere.
What? Okay. Granted, like that doesn't even sound like the kind of game he would make.
No, why? Just to give you a snippet of what kind of game you have to deal with Mad World. It's essentially a Sin City clone that ends with a boss fight with a character that is implied in universe is doing blackface. Yeah.
Okay, look.
What?
What?
Again, I'm getting him.
Wait.
This
Is it Blacker Baron?
Yes, and you guess what, Dej? It's only a implied thing because it might be the commentators who's taking the piece, but one of the actual lines are, one guy says, is this guy really a Baron? And he's like, yes, and guess what, he's not even black.
But yet, to address you, yes, the English translation was done by Pondak and Graf, yes.
Okay.
Because remember, at the time, they were writers for Sega at the time, so go on.
But anyway, back to my point here. Okay, look. I know Platinum aren't exactly like the Stanley Kubrick of game writers, okay? But again, though, normally you expect at least a fun story. Not even necessarily an amazing story, but their stories, even with their license tie and stuff, they're usually meant to be at least fun. But
People
this...
who played Bayonetta.
Well, that's the thing, Jova. See, here's the thing, Jova.
Austin.
I said they're supposed to be dead, like, that doesn't mean that they always are. The point is, like, well, again, and mind you, at the time of this game's making, anyway.
Well, here's the thing, Jova. Like, you can. It's not even much a problem because technically there's not even a story to begin with. Like, even if we wanted to call the story "quote unquote" bad, there's not really a story. Period. So honestly,
Oh, yeah. And like you said, the blame doesn't necessarily solely lie with the writers because this game definitely feels like it was a case where the story had to be made tailored to the game. Which... Yes, dear?
don't worry.
Did someone summon all the immortals? What the fuck?
Don't worry, Teo. Don't worry, Teo. I can make short work of them.
But, yeah, no. My point is like, well, and you know, I get it. It's because of how the game goes. Also, those two are absolutely cornering you, what the hell, but... No, I get that that's how it is, but that doesn't change the fact that the story is so... Well, I can't even call it naff. It's... Well, it's thin air.
It's just there.
It really is, like, so I guess to be fair, Jova, you can make one of those arguments of, oh, you can criticize our story if there's not a story there to begin with.
Well, that's the thing. There technically is still a story. Like, you've even bothered to get cutscenes in the same style of a show, so... No, if anything, your story can very much be critiqued as being nothing but hot air.
Compared to a bad game of the same short length, Kane and Lynch 2 Dog Days actually has a more complex.
The thing is, yeah, that's the thing. Like the reason I say there's no story is because quote unquote story is we have to go here, we have to do this. Oh yeah, I have to do this so I can do that. It's literally just.
Oh my god.
It's even lesser than that, Pedro.
In fact, I will say this. Sorry, go on.
It's more of a case of, oh, Korra needs to get better bending, and as soon as she gets better bang, you're basically at the final level anyway.
Yeah, basically.
It's very time to understand what's going on.
I do want to give one thing, though. You may have noticed that
you're... with you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll just get one last bit out. To give this game more credit, you do level up your bending abilities as you do more of what got you back to bending, as Pedro has shown off. Like, you'll notice that he's at level 4 with earth bending, level 5 with fire bending, level 4 with air bending, and level 5 with water bending.
Yes.
In fact, we gotta backtrack.
No, we don't. It's just that I decided, I might as well check this bit since I haven't checked yet. I could go straight for the final boss right now, but I'm not going to right now just yet. But, that's the thing. Now that I think about it, yeah, this game kind of suffers from some of the same problems as the Last Airbender movie, because the Last Airbender movie is also very similar in the way it's presented. Where the characters never actually talk to each other. They're just because every line of dialogue is exposition. We have to go here. We have to do this. The Fire Nation does this. The Fire Nation does that. The Avatar does this, and so the characters never actually talk to one another, as actual people. So this game actually suffers from a similar problem as the Last Airbender movie, I guess. So, yay, go on.
It very much does in that regard. To give this game credit, it has more of an excuse, not a good excuse, but at least more of an excuse why it's like this.
Oh, you do have an option of fast travel.
Yeah. It's not that
Once
useful.
you have the airbending, you can do that.
Yeah, but it's not particularly useful too because the levels are not really designed around this thing.
But again, for something like this one actually does come to help to get more quickly.
And like you said too, by the time we get airbending, the game is almost over. So it's not like you get much use out of this. So
I was the one that said that, but yeah.
Oh, was it? Okay. Well, whatever. The point is, final boss time.
I think you can only backtrack after.
All right. Well,
you beat that guy or
what's the
something?
deal with it?
All right, let's see what the deal is with this
Who
guy.
are you?
I am known by many names, but you,
Hey, Steve Blum.
master,
It's Steve Bloom.
Shh.
in my time I was a king.
And now you're just a sad old man.
Yes, but one who still has much treasure in the physical world. Treasure enough to buy an army. And thanks to you opening the portals, now they can march right in.
What? Seriously? Is that the excuse of why we're having the gang here?
And again, the non-benders, who should technically want nothing to do with this guy.
Oh no! I've only killed a million of these before.
Yeah, I don't get it.
So there you go. He's essentially an old spirit who came back to the physical world and used his treasure to pay these guys to be his army.
There you go.
No
Okay,
sense.
but what's your problem with the world? Like, why do you want to be evil?
He was a king.
Yeah, there's
Theo,
actually
he wants to be a king again.
there's actually a bit more to it as you're going to learn in a moment. So hold on. In the meantime, if I remember correctly, we're going to check on Iroh. No, we're not. All right, moving on. Okay, final boss time. You know what's the fun thing? There was actually a behind-the-scenes video back when this movie was released, and the director of this game promised the like an epic final boss that Platinum fans will expect. Into his credit,
Didn't get that at all.
no. To his credit, Shiroi, the final boss is actually quite bigger in scale compared to the previous bosses. You can tell that most of their budget went into this final boss.
Oh yeah, I will say this: the final boss, best part of the game.
Like because Platinum Games Shiroi is known for their gigantic scale, epic, insane final bosses, and this game also tries to do something akin to that. So to be fair, they do try. Go on, Jova.
That being said, as you can see for this chapter, we're going to be replaying this level.
Because we need some excuse to pan out the game even more. This is by far the most blatant example of padding so far. You're literally reusing the water temple level. Like, come on.
Temple, actually, but yeah.
I think at this point, Platinum, the audience is ready to just finish the game. Do we really need this?
Also, we do get to hear some more of his backstory spoken.
Yeah. Again, why doesn't this game have subtitles? Previous Platinum games have had subtitles. Bayonetta has subtitles. Why doesn't this have subtitles?
Basically, a previous avatar beat this guy when he was alive.
Yeah, there you go. Basically, he wants revenge because a previous avatar
Sweetest time.
a previous avatar made him bullied him to Teo, and now he's going to defeat Korra as revenge because avatars are mean. Yeah.
Well, I'm sure the avatar exists in the spirit world. The past life, so why don't you go after them instead?
As for why he took his time, Teo, his reasoning is like, oh, now that the spirit portals are open, I could just come through and hire people with money from my time as king.
How does that work?
Yeah, how does that
He apparently had treasures left in the physical world, he says.
Fucking spirits, how do they work?
Hey, wait a minute. Lore-wise, the firebender guy of the Triple Triad had lost his bending.
What?
Why is he back?
I think Korra fell through the door to darkness.
Okay, now let's try this again, shall we?
Yeah, basically the guy right now is basically just trying to play with your head.
Stay a little longer.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Again, Teo, gotta pad us out. Pad it out.
But
Pad.
what-
Oh my god, no, not pro bending!
Oh, bending! I'm so...
And now, ladies and gentlemen,
You get to hear more of Jeff Bennett.
there's that. And now, ladies and gentlemen, pro bending against the spirits.
Okay, you know what? Look, in a good game, I'd say that this is the kind of crazy random step that I'm okay with happening in a Platinum game. But I'll say this, if you did not like pro bending in this game, tough luck, because here's another pro bending match.
Can you even imagine if Final Fantasy X asked you to, after you beat Jack, to actually beat him again in a game of Blitzball?
Like, honestly,
God.
that's the thing, honestly, why is this villain attacking us with pro bending? Like, it's
Again,
honestly,
I guess the idea is he's using memories of Korra against her.
Yep.
I guess, but think about this though. There are rules to pro bending, so. But that said, in this case, why bother abiding by these rules? Like, what, does Korra get a timeout in the spirit realm if she cheats or something?
Yeah. Again, it's abundantly clear that the developers were desperate to make the game just long enough to be worth $20.
I love how they literally throw in a mode that is not shown up except for one other time in the game, unless you've been playing
Oh my god.
that side mode.
Too.
I'm ready. I'm ready for this game to be over now, developers.
I mean, again,
Oh, you actually have to
like,
beat them up properly now. Okay.
weirdly enough.
Even still, game. I'm ready for this to be over at this point. Can we please be over?
Okay, I would like to say, giving you a bit of bait and switch, pretending it's round 2 only to be a normal fight, that's actually cute.
Oh sure, it's just that I feel like at this point the game is overstaying its welcome. Go on. Oh.
Again, let me put it like this. In a better game, this kind of stuff would have been a welcome change of pace, essentially. Unfortunately, since it's in this game, like Pedro mentioned, it does feel like it is mainly a pace breaker.
Whoa.
Whoosh!
Which we tripping balls.
Yeah, as you can see,
Okay.
the final boss takes this long because of this. Okay, what else do you have for me? Yeah, this goes. Yeah, this goes on for a while.
Why do we even get the translation, transitioning between these? Why can't we have just transitioning from one trip sequence to the other?
Okay,
That's
to be
here's one thing.
There you go.
Yeah, you get Giant Korra out of nowhere. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's cool, but like, why just now? And in fact, if anything, she has an advantage. So why is Hundun putting us in a
That being said,
the advantage?
that being said, as you guys can see, for some reason, Giant Korra is really slow. I don't get that.
I mean, because she's the Titanic, giant and everything.
I
Hydrologic, Pedro.
I guess.
Just slower.
I guess. Okay, are we done here, game? Are we?
I guess the idea might be rule of 4.
It's like the climax of Life is Strange 1. Like, it's just,
Oh no, there we go, rule of 3, man.
it's like the nightmare sequence in Life is Strange 1. It just goes on and on and on and on and on.
It goes
Is
on.
it the fire, flame, contributed in pain, and just crush will remain? There, you see, I made a Sonic reference. Are you happy, Tia?
Why me?
I don't really get your point there, Dutch. Anyway, moving on. Yeah,
I didn't make one last time.
and look at that. All the bending forms are at the best level to be.
All right.
All right.
So yeah, again, so keep in mind, so Hundun here apparently used money to recruit the Triple Triad and used his charisma to recruit
And now-
the remainder of the equals,
The beginning of the
supposedly.
game.
Look at that. We've come full circle. We're back at the beginning of the game.
Hooray.
Yep. But
This
this
means
really
Korra
doesn't.
gets defeated.
Cutscene.
So, what now?
How will Korra get out of this?
Yeah, now we get to see how she gets out of this.
Oh.
So basically, wow, that was by far the lamest use of immediate stress I've ever seen. Like seriously, okay, you'd think they were building up. Oh, I'm guessing maybe she gets absorbed. Oh, yes, Janora.
All one. There is no light or dark, no good or evil, no human or spirit. All are one.
You're full of crap.
What are you talking about?
Oh, look, there's her model.
Let go, Korra. The division between you and your enemies is an illusion. All are one.
Get the idea you're not supposed to fight?
You know what? Just tell her it's not fucking real, dumbass.
Korra, there is no light or dark. To fight another
Well, I mean,
is to fight yourself.
There's plenty of dark.
Go.
Does that mean we have a mirror match?
Like, there's no dark. I'm in the void. I'm in the Sonic 06 ending.
And now... Avatar state.
Yep.
Didn't she lost it after book 2?
Nah, she technically got it back, but a much neutered version because all the previous Avatar spirits got destroyed.
I still call bullshit with Kuvira's first duel.
Alright. So, the Avatar state. Basic...
Oh sure, those are gonna take you down.
Yeah. So, basically with the Avatar state, you can kind of fly, you can explode, and you can... Okay, to be fair, this is actually really good fun in that broken kind of way. Again, you just get to completely destroy all these creatures.
Straight. Ghidorah just told you to not fight because the enemies were more like an illusion, you know, they're not black and white and everything, but now it's perfectly okay to commit genocide.
You...
I mean,
No, don't you see? It's in the spirit world, so they'll be fine.
And besides, they're trying to kill her.
No, I don't mind that, Dweebs. I just don't get, you know, there's a bit of total disconnection between what happened just a second ago.
Let's be honest, Genoa was just giving generic, oh, we are all one
on.
advice.
Our battle is far from over.
Why didn't he just disable the avatar powers again like he did earlier?
Well, yeah, that's a good point. Now, the reason she was having trouble getting the Avatar state was because at the start of the game, her Avatar powers, which included the elements and Avatar state, had been broken. But now that they're back, Dwips just raised a good point as to why he doesn't just try to break them
You were
again.
banded up, rock up in the air.
And that was seriously a chapter. Look, like I said before, I really only consider this game 6 chapters long because the last few chapters are like divisions of a chapter.
Clearly,
really.
yeah. It's the game. It's the game trying its hardest to pad out time.
Like, look, guys, we totally have this many chapters, we swear. But, you know, I love the bit that supposedly this villain,
By the way, Hyro, since you're in the spirit world...
Condom.
By the way, Hyro, since you're in the spirit world, why can't you come here and help me?
I'm
And they
totally shit.
And they clearly brought back his voice, so he could have come and helped.
Yeah, I mean, they got Greg Baldwin.
I just need my tea, shut up.
But no, I mean, seriously, Hundun. So he claims that he managed to win over the Equalists. You remember what remains of them anyway, with his charisma. And I'm like, dude, what charisma? Your mannerisms all amount to just laughing maniacally, teleporting away as far as we know.
The edge
Don't
of chaos.
make great speeches or anything.
Did somebody say chaos?
No, Jack, not now.
God
Hey, Korra, how are you getting back home?
Again, I can't fathom the fact that Korra's, you know, stat screen is just a PNG over there, not even a 3D model.
Alas, too. Yeah, so just going to prepare some equipment for the final boss real quick.
Let's go and get him.
There you go. Alright, I think we're going to start now. Oh, never mind, let's check the Veni items. Yeah,
Oh, you do have a cab badge as an artifact.
Oh, you do too. You find it as an artifact, but you just find it. You don't actually destroy the cabbage stand. That's the thing.
It's technically a bit better than what happened.
I get. I know. I just wish we could actually destroy the cabbage stand to get it.
I get what you mean.
Because it really feels like a missed opportunity that we're in a market, a fruit market, in an Avatar game, and we don't have a break the cabbage stand Easter egg. It's just such a missed.
It should be the equivalent of a Street Fighter 2, you know, between stage with the car.
Yeah, exactly.
So basically, Steve Blum's voiced 2 villains in this series.
Yes.
Why not?
To meditate into the spirit world, seeking immortality.
Oh, just shut up and fight me. I still don't care about you.
Shut up, you need to hear my backstory.
Yeah, because this is Korra. I'm surprised she doesn't just do that. Just do the whole shut up and fight me thing, interrupting him.
Well, I think you're gonna like Jack from Stranger of Paradise. There's a point where one of the Titans is trying to explain stuff to Jack, and Jack's like, "I don't give a fuck who you are," and then punches him in the face.
The general meme believes is when Jack skips cutscenes.
Yeah. Jack is basically that incredibly impatient protagonist who doesn't give a fuck about.
And another Mook Rush.
He doesn't give a fuck.
No, he really doesn't. Like the villain starts explaining his backstory, and Jack's like, "I don't give a shit," and then just.
So anyway,
we actually get to fight physically this guy.
We do too. Don't worry, we do.
Oh, thank God.
So anyway, so more of his lore here, as you just mentioned. Essentially, he found a way to meditate into the spirit world to give himself immortality after his defeat, and he's been leeching off of Korra's chi, essentially.
Swamp you've been festering in for the last millennium, and I won't be forced to destroy you.
Let me guess, it's just the beginning.
And now, Teo, he reveals another truth about himself.
What?
Is this our uncle?
Yep.
There you go, Teo. The two brothers are literally joined at the hip. There you go.
No, it looks like Boomy.
So, yeah, you wanted your over-the-top insane boss battle? There you go.
And there's 3 L bars.
Yep. And there's even your typical big QTE sequences a la typical Platinum Games bosses, as you're gonna see.
Well, I would have to say, because of all the special effects going on between all the bending, it's yeah, I can imagine at least for Shiri it might be tough to see what's going on.
Well, don't worry, Shirei, I'll help you.
It's a lot of nonsense right now.
Don't worry, Shirei. Lots of bending, lots of explosions, and lots of spirits. There you go. That's what's happening.
Question, Shirei. Is it to a point where it hurts your eyes, or is it just a nuisance to look through?
It's a nuisance.
Don't worry, Shirei.
At least it's not harmful.
Don't worry.
I think-
There you go.
Okay, teleported. Cool.
Okay. You are aware that I can fire projectiles at you, right?
Be afraid of me!
Yeah, over the top platinum boss, huh?
Well, to be fair, this is a big in scale and over the top. I mean, yeah, it's not Metal Gear Rising level of crazy, but
I know. I was thinking
Wait,
it's
but
not.
this looks like a mess.
You've forgotten who I am. I'm the goddamn Avatar.
Honestly, if Korra were PG-13, we probably would have gotten something like that with Korra swearing.
alright.
Okay, if it isn't one of the those films planned a Korra film or something?
No, wait. Oh, maybe.
Okay, if it is, make it PG-13 and have her swear. I mean, she's old enough at this point.
Okay. I know we got the animated Avatar movie that's supposed to be with the original gang taking place after the original series. There's supposed to be the Zuko movie. I know we're getting the Earthbender series.
Oh, barrier.
It's okay. Explosion! See?
Yeah. Basically, the Avatar explosion counts as all 4 elements, so no matter the barrier, you can pretty much just break through it.
Yeah. The Avatar state is basically the I win the game ability.
Which, to be fair,
That's
replicates it from the show. So
yeah, that's kind of the whole. There you go. See, your typical. There you go. See, now this is starting to definitely look more like a Platinum Games final boss. See.
Although the ironic thing is that last I checked, the Avatar state was supposed to have been weakened after Book 2, but no, it seems
Korra
like
just went super. Korra just went Super Saiyan.
Basically, I was about to say.
In fact, why don't we put It Has to Be This Way over this soundtrack?
There you go. Now they're now we're even fighting while flying. Okay, again, this, like I said, this is actually kind of cool. I will admit.
It is a
Also,
bit awkward though that he's literally just walking in midair.
Also, they actually did brought back the voice actress also for the entity that ones with the avatars. Forgot her name.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, as you can see, the game gives you plenty of time for that prompt.
Ick!
Yeah, now this is definitely Platinum right here.
At the very least, they actually they incorporate all of the bendings.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah.
You spin me right round, baby, right round like a QTE. That pile drives me right in my face.
And now gigantic rock
That's what drives.
Come out with that on the floor.
drops a giant rock on top of him. There you go. Boom.
Actually, I did, yeah.
You mentioned that, Joe. I can't imagine what an avatar show set in that equivalent of the 2000s.
So we cool?
No. He tried to kill us, so.
Oh, we need to finish him, I guess.
Yes. Time to spirit and then.
Alright.
You know the drill. Go in peace.
Yuna, trespass him.
Go in pieces, more like. No, I'm sorry, I don't wanna.
I don't wanna go to Brazil, no!
Tough, I guess.
And you think
You were an
Even a one last line, like damn new avatar. Not even that.
what an incredible
Not a good scream or anything.
what a lame
Like,
forgettable
honestly-
villain.
like
How do
honestly,
you
I
make
thought
the season 2 film?
Oh hi Genora.
You saved the world.
Lifetime would be an issue. But it turns out I also have to answer for things I did 100 lifetimes ago.
Well, at least after that, facing Tano and the Wolfbats should be no problem.
wait. The Wolfbats? That's a pro-bending team! Korra's not doing the pro-bending thing at this point.
Well, she is now. She's
She
getting
was,
back
well, she
into
wasn't.
it.
Well, she wasn't.
I think
Yeah.
that's what she does, Joe.
There you go,
Wait,
Jova.
we literally end the game with pro-bending.
Yeah.
This is the final boss. Pro pet.
No, this is actually the credit sequence, believe it or not.
Oh.
Oh, hi, Marco.
Alright, Marco and Bolin. You guys
You two are wearing
Again.
this green.
Again, like I mentioned, Mako and Korra weren't doing pro-bending by this point.
So yeah, we end the game just the way we started it.
Oh my god. And that's the thing.
They're bending back.
Yeah, again, that's the thing. They acknowledge that Book 1 has occurred, but again, did they forget Book 2 occurred? Well, clearly not, because this references Book 2, so again, why are Mako and Bolin? Sure, yeah, we can assume maybe he was still doing the pro-bending, even though we don't really see him doing pro-bending for most of Book 2, like only at the start.
At least
but-
we're giving Marco and Bolin time to get some gags in the credits, I guess.
I'm of two minds. I mean, yeah, I too would like to pretend that Book 2 never happened, but unfortunately, that's not how things work.
Alright, in the
And like I
meantime.
said, it's not even like they do, because a lot of this is tied into spirit bending, so... Wait, hold on. So Mako and Bolin are there, and they voice act. Why didn't you bring them along for the venture?
Because
Again,
reasons.
considering also, if I recall correctly, the game on the 3DS has the story in a bigger scope and involves also more of the characters. I get the idea. The makers of the show did had the story planned, but when it came to actually putting through for the actual Platinum games, for the budget that they had had to cut away so much stuff.
Recognize that.
How ironic.
I recognize that name. Now, Tanaka, he did nearly half of the X Games' music, and then he did the music for Ace Attorney 2 and the DS conversions of the rest of the trilogy on the DS.
Indeed. Alright, in the meantime, final thoughts. Dwebs.
It's an Avatar game. You do bending and stuff, and also this, I guess. There's not really much to it, though, to be honest. You just go around doing really late fights. The best one's near the end, but that's the only reason it's not even all that special, because it's the end one. By the time the game starts to get good, it ends.
I suppose to give them credit, they let you beat the Wolfbat, something we never got to see happen in the show, because they cheated that one time, and then... Yeah, pretty much after Book 1, pro-bending, which may I remind you, a good chunk of Book 1 was based on, just vanished into the ether of the show, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Carry on,
Well, I
does.
mean, and this game only lasted like 2 years on the market before it got pulled because of licensing.
Mm-hmm.
Not Not that, they even credit J.K. Simmons even though he's not in this game.
J.K.
I don't think he voiced a
Maybe
single
he
voice
does
line.
speak.
Yeah,
in this
what?
bit? We
Yeah,
just
why is he
missed that
credited?
somewhere?
Why is he credited? He's not in this game. Whatever.
Maybe he is, and it's just like you have to do a specific thing to hear his voice.
Maybe he leaves a comment while you're playing the Pro Banding minigame from out of the story.
I
How
guess.
much is that to you? There's no voice acting in the 3DS version, right?
As far as I know, no. And considering how bad the quality of the...
Thanks for playing.
Thanks for playing.
Thanks for playing. Hey guys,
Wait.
seriously, thanks for playing. I know it was just one person, but I really like you and all of you.
Okay.
Cheers.
For a moment, I thought we were going to hear J.K. Simmons say thanks for playing during that section.
Still,
Well-
and considering how bad the sound design for the 3DS game is, I get the idea it's for the better, but again, all into time. Continue, Lives.
I mean, honestly, there's not really a whole lot to say, to be honest. It's just a really mediocre licensed game from a usually pretty top-tier developer.
Mm-hmm.
And it not being available to buy anymore, honestly, I don't really feel it's even that big of a loss.
No, not really.
Like, I mean, you're not missing much story-wise by not playing the game.
Oh no, now I'll never get to remember that time when Korra for some reason was back into pro bending and had to beat up this Hundun guy who brought back the non-benders and somehow got them to work with the Triple Triad.
The enemy of my enemy is my friend. I don't know.
Well, remember, he says that he bribed the Triple Triad with money and got the Equalists to work with him under using his charisma.
Wait, he bribed someone to do something. It's like the architect in that Doctor Who parody thing. Keep bribing people to get what they want.
I honestly didn't even bother to look the trophy list on PSN profiles. I'm pretty sure it's straightforward, but...
But yeah, I mean, I honestly, I don't think even the writers of this game, Brian and Mike, really gave two shits about this, to be honest. Like, they knew there are some mediocre game that no one's gonna buy, and besides, we're too busy trying to clean up our own mess from season 2. So
again, to give the writers of this game credit, it feels much more like they had to tailor the story to the game. And given how small and repetitive the game is, I can kind of get why it is the way it is for this. Not excusing it, mind you, but I wouldn't blame it solely on the writers. This definitely feels like about where the gameplay dictated the story.
I get the feeling this game didn't take very long to make.
Probably not. I would give it a year, honestly.
Possibly.
For all we know, possibly, yeah. I mean, granted, they should have given it more time in the oven.
Definitely.
Well, I mean, the game came, by the time the game came out, the show was nearly over. So,
all right, carry on.
That's one of the issues.
Screw it.
That's one of the issues with licensed tie-in games when they want to rush it to coincide with a certain release.
But yeah, that's about it. It's just kind of really, really mediocre.
Shiroi.
Yeah, what Dwarf said. Like, it's fine as a licensed game, I guess, but it is also just still mediocre. It could have been a bit better. It was... Like, I'm sure there was something they could fill this out with instead of just padding. I mean, it's a long-running series, even outside of Korra, so... I don't know. That's... Yeah, it was mostly very underwhelming, and yeah,
Yep.
Yeah, it's. I don't know what to say about it. I'm describing cardboard here.
Shiroi, trust me, like, I play this thing, and I can barely come up with things to say about it, because this is the kind of game that you play and you pretty much forget about it literally 30 minutes later.
Again, it's surreal to be this bored with a Platinum game. Like, Platinum usually doesn't do the whole in-between, oh, it's just mediocre. Like, usually they go all in and it's good, or they've had some cases where it's bad. But this is just a case where, it exists.
Alright, you're done?
That's it.
Dej.
Boy, this game looks extremely mediocre as hell.
You don't say.
Like, I was not expecting anything grand, but this feels like lamer than PS2 shovelware games. Like, aesthetically it looks cool, but everything else is like, ugh. This was rushed out the door, huh?
Yep.
Yep.
Wait, was this before? This came out in 2014.
14, yes.
When did we get season 3?
After this game.
Hold on. Let me check.
So this is
'Cause I feel
supposed
like
to be after books? No, wait, no, it can't be. So this is supposed to be after book 2.
Here we go. The season 3 change premiere first aired in June 27, 2014, and in that case, let me correct that.
So that would mean that this game came out after.
Yeah, basically this game came out in October.
Before, though, which.
Yeah.
Fun fact, Edge. Literally, book 3 and book 4 of Legend of Korra came out the same year.
Oh, here we go, Jova. I just checked.
I remember.
Yeah. Here's the thing, Jova. Season 4 Balance premiered on October 3rd, and the video game came out on October 21st. So
I can definitely believe that this was being made at the same time as book 3. Yeah.
So basically, here's the basic gist of it, Edge. This game was in development, started development during season 2, after season 2, and released right as season 4 had just premiered.
Yeah. About a year tops.
I just checked because remember, the season 3 aired between June and August of 2014, so it was a very quick season, and they aired season 4 still on 2014. So basically, this was back when Nick was basically rushing through the rest of the story just to get it over with, basically.
So it's a combination of two issues. Nick were rushing the series to be over, so in turn, the game was probably executively mandated to be rushed to coincide with the ending of the series.
Indeed. Carry on, Edge.
Yes, just looks lame. Like I wish they had more time, a budget.
I know, it's hard to come up with things to say about this thing because
no, it's not that because I don't want. It's a digital only title.
Yep.
And this was like how long is this? 2 hours.
2 hours.
2 hours. So of course you're not going to expect the world, but because it's the company that made it, you expected more.
What price was this game released at?
Probably $40.
No. Actually, if I remember correctly, $20, I think. But let me double check. Real quick.
So again, you kind of see, yeah. Don't expect anything grand.
Okay, let me see. It's weird because the 3DS game apparently went for stuff like $40 apparently.
Especially, like I said, that one is actually longer, and if I understand correctly, that's the full story.
Let me guess. Because it was a handheld, their eyes probably weren't on that game as much, so it had more time in the oven.
It did not have voice acting. It's a bit on the cheap side, like I said. It uses the same portrait for all the characters, but if I understand correctly, it does keep the dialogue at least, and it involves more characters and not just Korra wandering around. It should actually be a bit more, more meaty than this one.
Keep in mind, the 3DS version actually got a physical release. Like, damn.
And like I said, to compensate that, the sound design is atrocious, like ear-breaking.
Well, okay, hopefully aside from that, maybe the gameplay and story are good.
See. If anything, this game actually revived my interest to actually check it out as soon as I get, something decent to record it with.
Mm-hmm.
All right, everybody.
I'd say play Transformers Devastation, but that game's not in the...
Yeah, or even Mutants in Manhattan. I can definitely tell that Mutants in Manhattan is better than this, to be honest with you.
I mean, like I said, Mutants in Manhattan...
They charge $60 for it.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I don't think Mutants in Manhattan justified that price.
No.
Because
I'm enjoying the game, but I will definitely agree that it's not worth $60 now.
Which is weird because
40
Transformers
40
Devastation
tops.
was more. Yeah. I mean, Transformers Devastation, I think, also went for 50 at some point, but
I think it was 60
I have no
as well.
idea.
Well, Devastation I will argue is good enough, but Mutants in Manhattan, I will argue.
Too short.
Mutants in Manhattan is also short, but I will argue a $40 price tag is fair. But yeah, you're done, Dej?
Yeah, so someone with better grammatical skills at describing mediocrity, go next.
Well, let's see if Jova can. Jova.
It is incredibly banal. It is pretty much the video game equivalent of playing cardboard, essentially. There's technically nothing egregiously wrong with it, but let's be honest, there is nothing exceptionally good about it in the grand scheme. Sure, now, there are some pretty keen moments in the game, but they don't amount to much because the overall gameplay loop is unbelievably repetitive. You will be fighting the same mooks for pretty much up until you reach the final boss. I mean, sure, yeah, things get a little bit different with some of the new spirit enemies, but even those get repetitive in the, I guess, technically 4 chapters you fight them, even though, like I said, the last 3 chapters could have easily have just been merged into chapter 6. Like, come on.
Yeah.
And this game wears its repetition on its sleeve to the point where the final boss is literally you having to re-go through past elements. Now, granted, I will give him credit. Stuff like the giant spirit aura Korra that you play as for that one scene is pretty nifty, even though it doesn't really make sense why you're playing as giant aura spirit Korra. And the probe ending bit, again, in a better game, that would be a nice little cheeky moment. But man, if you've just been skipping the probe ending for most of your playthrough on this game, that first round could very much catch you off guard, essentially, if you don't remember how probe ending works in the game.
Yeah, there's an entire league of probe ending as a side mode, but I don't have the patience to tackle that, so...
Gee, Pedro,
it's not
if this game has Earl explaining how pro-bending works.
Not just that. It's like with Final Fantasy X. I don't have the... I've had enough of that one game. I don't want to go for the entire League of Blitzball. Thank you very much.
Again, like Tia said, can you imagine what if you had to fight Jet in a Blitzball tournament for the grand finale?
I mean, to be fair, it would make sense thematically. The problem is that I don't like Blitzball.
It's like the first Bionicle movie where out of nowhere Makuta is like, let's threaten this with a game of Coley. Why not?
That was certainly a thing. But okay, look, the gameplay is one thing. The story is also just as, well, mediocre. Well, honestly, mediocre might be too nice of a word. It's practically non-existent.
Mm-hmm.
Again, you have bits with some characters, and then they just vanish. Janora kind of does her thing at pretty inopportune moments, let's be honest. But other than that, it's like, okay, Korra comes and does something. Someone shows up, and then we go back to in-game stuff.
Yeah.
It's nice that you're able to get cutscenes that pretty much replicate that of the actual show, but they don't do nearly enough with them. And you think, well, maybe this new character... And yeah, when you think about it, literally the only new character for this is Hundun. We only learned stuff about him by the finale. It's not like we're...
And it's so rushed.
It's not even like it's not even like we're learning stuff about him as we go. It's like, nope, we get like one bit of exposition dump when we first meet him. And then we get...
a story, or anything.
And then we get exposition told mid-gameplay. Like, wow.
Without subs.
You couldn't dedicate cutscenes to actually explaining this doofus's story. You gotta put it over gameplay. And yeah, like Tio said, without subs.
So yeah, if you're deaf, tough shit, I guess.
I'll say. But even still, like Tio said, the story of this guy essentially admits to... oh, I was an evil king back in the day, but then a past avatar defeated me. So then I meditated myself into the spirit world so I could live on forever. And now that the spirit portals are open, I'm going to come out and beat the current avatar. Which I guess he thought that would bring back his rule as king or something? I don't know. Maybe he's just petty, but then if he's that petty, like the others stated, why not find the avatar who defeated you in the spirit world? We've seen that, that's where avatars go when they die, so... Dude, what the hell? And like I said, lore-wise, it does not make sense that the Equalists would be working with the Triple Triad. The one thing...
would be so willing to get into the spirit world to begin with.
Keep in mind, the Triple Triad literally took the bending of not just the firebending guy who mysteriously has that back, but I guess we can assume Korra gave it back to him despite the fact that the Triple Triad betrayed her friends in Book 2, pretty much breaking the deal, but also that they're working with the Equalists, the guys who took away their boss's bending. I guess the money was really that good from the treasures he had in the physical world. And you gotta love how we're just told and not shown an iota of this. Like, okay, for contrast's sake, the final boss of Metal Gear Rising kind of has just one cutscene before he shows up, literally smack dab at the ending of the game, and yet he is quite possibly the boss that everyone remembers the most from that game.
Fuck the bureaucrats.
He is just that awesome.
Fuck the media.
Like, no, seriously, trust me. Like, no, that's the thing. Platinum have made outstanding final encounters, and I guess to the final boss's credit, it is quite possibly the best moment in this game. But remember, it's this game that we're talking about, so best moment in this game pales in comparison to probably the worst moment in Metal Gear Rising. Oops.
Yep.
Like, again, at the end of the day, I can just say, yep, that happened. Such a deadly encounter that almost no one except Korra and Jinora really bothered to show up for. It's like, Korra kicked their butts. She spirit-bended the brothers, because yes, the big twist was that this guy had a brother who he was conjoined with, who had been wounded and all that. And they don't even really fight against her spirit bending them. They just stand and pose there awkwardly as she envelops them, and he gives one last yell, but that's it.
Yep.
And that's it. Story's done. Sure, you could do pro bending if you want. But from what I recall, pro bending doesn't really net you any really great extras, so...
more than anything,
yeah, you get costumes, but I don't give a rat's ass about that, to be honest with you.
Yes, costumes. Like I said, aside from that, though, not really anything interesting. This is one of the most bare-bone games I have ever played. And yeah, as Pedro has now rekindled my memory, now I remember why I don't even remember much of my experience playing it the first time. It is very unmemorable. So that was the story of how Korra kicked the ass of this old king.
And let's all never mention this ever again in seasons 3 and 4, guys. Yep. 2.
Alright, who's next, Tio?
I would like to say, yeah, I agree on the whole it's harmless and anything, but I'm mostly looking at the half-full part of the class, in a sense that, if anything, it's a testament of how high the bar is for Platinum, that some of their worst products still are enjoyable to some degree, instead of, the most horrible licensed games that you can find that are even unbearable to play. This is a good time waster that if I have find at a price that is like $10, I would have actually pretty much enjoyed it, because for a price like that, for a game like this, yeah, totally cool with that.
It does go back to what we said earlier, and by typical license game standards, this would be considered pretty much your typical one. Heck, are sadly better than some. It's just that it's like with looking at the worst of Pixar's material. Going off of Platinum scale here, man, and again, the fact that this came out not too long after Bayonetta 2, massive disappointment.
But anyway, the story is not that much, sadly. Again, I get the idea that you're just going to involve more characters and have more action, but and instead Platinum to work with, which does include recycling the Triple Triad so many times to the point of insane logic, illogic, which is really kind of sad. The villain, I get the idea that the villain I could have actually liked more if I actually had the time to actually develop it more. And at least, hey, it gives the courtesy of actually dying at the end, which is more than I can say to Kuvira,
Well, don't you see, Kuvira saw the light in the end after her mecha was destroyed.
Fuck that. She should have died by her own contraption. I already mentioned that. But no, again, I get the idea that there was something more that we should have known, but instead we sadly didn't. Again, who knows? Maybe the 3DS game will actually, answer this blank, or maybe it will just be just as bland. Again,
Here's hoping.
Again, it's a game that sits in the middle exactly like that. It's not particularly memorable as that, but I wouldn't argue it wastes your time that much. It's good for feeling a day where you don't know what to play that much and you want to say, oh, let's try to finish a game in one go. Especially if you maybe are a fan of the franchise. Again, sure, with Korra is a bit more complicated than that, than the classic series, obviously. But I can see this getting its fan base in some minor capacity as it may be.
There were some people who did still like the game.
But what is very is minimally solid enough to not be terrible to me. Pedro.
Alright, so here are the good things. The visuals. The in-game visuals perfectly capture the look of the show. It's exactly how I want an Avatar game to look like. The music is copy-pasted from the show, so no complaints here. The final boss is the highlight because it definitely feels like how exactly you would expect a core final boss by Platinum to be. Cool. Yeah, that's about it. Aside from that, Legend of Korra is a game. It's a game that you can play. It's a game that you can boot up and finish, like Teo said, in 2 hours. And that's it. It's a game that you can play.
It certainly functions.
It functions.
Like the commercials of a PSP. It's a that you can play with outside.
That's the tagline for the commercial. Like Legend of Korra. It's a game that you can play.
Hooray.
Did you know that you can play this game, Shiroi? You can also press buttons, and it will do things when you press those buttons. Yeah, you see what I mean? Like
buttons and combos occur.
I really do not envy whoever had to handle the marketing for this game. But that was the Legend of Korra game, which means we are technically, I guess, kind of done. Because technically, like Teo said, there's the 3DS game, and like Jova said, there are the tie-in games to the original series.
And the Shyamalan movie, don't forget.
Don't worry, I'll take in fact, I might record that one next, just because I'm incredibly curious for that one.
I keep forgetting that there was a video game of that.
And remember that, like I said, the soundtrack being composed by Mick Gordon. I don't even can begin to what he did to that.
Seriously.
I hope it was awesome.
We'll see. I guess we'll see.
I'll take a look at how it is. Anyway, everybody, that was the Legend of Korra. That's it. See ya.
See ya.
Yeah.